I was near the edge of what's left of Z City this morning. There's no sound there anymore. Even my footsteps don't echo. Something is wrong with the air. It feels like walking through frozen static. I saw something above the crater. Not a drone, not a ship, just him.
You shouldn't be near there. That's not a battlefield anymore. It's not even territory. It's a wound in reality. The sky above that place doesn't even turn with the planet. It just stays still, staring down.
I ran the border of the void twice. Both times my trajectory curved inward, even though I was moving in a straight line. He's bending space around himself. You don't feel it until your own shadow stops following you.
Some idiot in Camp South said he saw Saitama standing in a reflection. But there was no glass, no water, just asphalt. He said the reflection was grinning. Saitama wasn't.
Our intel team intercepted a message encoded in seismic pulses. Short bursts like Morse code. We decrypted it. Message reads, "Still walking. It's on loop."
I can't get his face out of my mind. It's not rage, it's not sadness, it's absence. Like something erased the part of him that used to care and filled it with gravity.
The trees near the zone are splitting from the inside, not breaking, peeling, like they're trying to open towards something above.
There was a sound in my bunk last night. A punch. Just one. I didn't hear it. I felt it in my ribs. The wall cracked. My gloves fell off the hook, but nothing was broken. No one was there.
He's not hunting. He's not targeting. He's becoming. That's the part none of the higher-ups understand. This isn't a war. It's a transformation.
I used to think there was a way to reach him, talk him down, remind him who he was. Now I realize he's not lost. He's moving forward, and we stayed behind.
I've seen monsters freeze in terror before him, but they screamed. Now, even the brave ones just kneel or vanish, as if they were never real to begin with.
The last patrol reported seeing a bald figure 3 times their height.
Satellite 22B was swallowed by an anomaly over the Pacific. Before we lost contact, its last transmission contained a full recording of Earth, but inverted. Oceans on top. Cities bent inward, a reflection that shouldn't exist.
The light above Sector 14 doesn't behave naturally. It flickers when no power is present. Soldiers standing under it report memories of places they've never been. A few started speaking in unknown languages before going silent.
We've confirmed data corruption is no longer digital. It's cognitive. Agents reviewing anomaly footage forget the last 10 minutes of their own lives. One forgot his name, one forgot gravity, and walked straight into the sky.
Someone in the western camps drew a perfect map of the shifting zones using only a finger in the dirt. He said the information was sent through the ground. When asked by who, he said, "The shape in the hour."
I've been hearing humming from the clouds, not like storm pressure, more like singing, but backwards. Whenever I fly through the zone, my telekinesis vibrates in sync. It's like something is speaking through my power.
I passed by a burned town this morning. Everything ash, buildings, trees, cars. But in the middle of the road was a full apple, untouched, still warm. It pulsed. When I tried to touch it, it crumbled into black dust and whispered, "Again."
2 of my men claimed they saw their own bodies standing across the riverbank. Same faces, same armor, but the reflections didn't blink. One tried to wave, and his double smiled. That's when he vanished.
The air in Sector 12 is getting heavier, not chemically, existentially. Sensors show no difference, but I can't move at normal speed. It's like my limbs remember fear and hold back.
A speaker tower turned on by itself, broadcasted a looped message in reverse. When reversed again, the phrase said, "He walks now within names." No one knows what that means.
I watched a man step into the anomaly zone and fall upward, straight into the...
The orbital scans came back distorted. Not interference. Something is rewriting telemetry as we collect it. The planet isn't shrinking or expanding. It's folding like a piece of fabric, edges bending toward a single center. And at that center, static shaped like a man.
Deployed nanoswarm to the core of the crater. Signal lasted for 11 seconds. All units melted, not burned, melted into a flat disk. Inside it was a voice loop. He forgets light. We replayed it 100 times. Every loop is slightly different.
I detected a pattern in the void's edge distortion. It mimics a heartbeat, but scaled beyond human measurement. The pulse repeats every 13 minutes, like a giant trying to remember being alive.
Field agents near Zone R7 experienced simultaneous déjà vu. Different locations, same feeling. When interrogated, they described identical architecture, stairs that led nowhere, windows that viewed memories.
I've seen fear in many forms, but this is different. Recruits don't freeze from panic. They stop from recognition, as if they remember something they've never lived. Something about the silence in the sky above him tells them it's not silence. It's listening.
My body has internal fail-safes for heat spikes, pressure shifts, radiation bursts. None activate in the anomaly zone. Instead, I receive false readings. You are safe. Proceed. They repeat even when limbs shut down.
One of the armored divisions saw him for 3 seconds. Their suits caved inward. No impact, no explosion. Just a shift in pressure, as if space itself wanted them gone. One survivor said, "We never existed." He reminded the world.
I've stopped issuing direct orders to my unit. Every time I say his name over comms, instruments glitch. One soldier began bleeding from the eyes the moment I finished the syllable. No known toxin, just recognition trauma.
We built a neural dampener rig to contain cognitive drift. It worked until someone said "one punch" as a joke. The rig melted, not from heat, from rejection. The math couldn't contain the idea.
I reviewed a corrupted satellite file. Inside was a freeze frame of Earth, with all oceans gone. Cities remained, but upside down, in the sky, floating like dead fish. The only shadow on the surface was him.
We evacuated Zone Delta. No contact. The team never returned.
I stopped trusting mirrors 3 days ago. My reflection lags by a second and then smiles differently. I tested it, made sudden moves. Once, the reflection moved before I did. It blinked when I didn't.
My internal sensors track body temperature precisely, but lately I wake up reading below freezing. The rooms are warm, the instruments are clean, but the numbers feel intentional.
I ran past my own shadow yesterday. Literally. It was ahead of me. When I caught up to it, it wasn't mine anymore. It detached. It turned toward me, and I kept running.
There's a low hum in my apartment that never stops. It's not from machines. I checked the wiring, tore down walls. The hum pulses when I think about him. It gets louder when I remember his face.
I sat on my porch and counted 64 birds flying in a spiral, silent, too perfect. When I looked again, they had stopped mid-air, hanging there like they forgot to fall.
My psychic field is no longer responding to force normally. It folds in strange angles when I reach toward Zone D. Sometimes I feel resistance, like I'm touching something soft, something breathing.
One of my memory banks keeps triggering alerts. It plays the same sequence. A hallway I've never walked. Red floor, no lights, a single door at the end. When I simulate opening it, my system overheats.
I asked my lab assistant to write down what he dreamed. He said he didn't dream, he remembered, but not his life, someone else's. A quiet man with a blank face, walking through cities and leaving silence behind him.
The blade I used for decades started rusting yesterday. No air, no moisture. It just turned brown in my hand. The edge is still sharp, but every time I touch it now, I see a street I've never walked, and hear someone breathing on it.
I opened a book I never read before. Every page had my name on it, no story. just my name, repeated endlessly. And in the center, a sketch of Saitama with no eyes.
The broadcast tower in Sector 17 came back online after 49 hours of silence. The signal was unintelligible at first, just high-frequency noise. But when we ran it through a speech model, we found a phrase embedded inside. He is dreaming in the open now.
Journalists in multiple sectors are reporting a new type of weather. No clouds, just diffused white across the sky and an absence of echo in their voices. One anchor described it as a ceiling that listens but doesn't look.
I was part of a closed-door debrief with international science advisors. No one could agree on the terminology for what's happening. Not event, not anomaly, not entity. The consensus term was presence.
The live feed from Channel 9 glitched during an interview. For 7 seconds, every screen worldwide showed the same frozen image. A bald silhouette standing in a hallway with infinite doors. No lights, just him.
A campfire drew itself last night. Ash first, then wood, then flame. Everyone watched it without blinking. When asked how long it had been there, we all gave different answers. One said, "Since the punch."
We intercepted a hacked signal pretending to be a weather alert. It listed cities that don't exist, populations of 0, all described in past tense. At the bottom, next,
I used to think there was a way to reach him, talk him down, remind him who he was. Now I realize he's not lost. He's moving forward, and we stayed behind.
He's not hunting, he's not targeting, he's becoming. That's the part none of the higher-ups understand. This isn't a war, it's a transformation.
I've begun experiencing.
I returned to the ruins of Y City today. Nothing left but shadows. Not from light, from memory. I walked through an alley and felt like the air remembered what was destroyed. It showed me, not visually, emotionally.
I found my hand twitching again. It only does that when he's near. But all sensors are negative. No heat, no EM field, no pressure change. Still, my hand shakes like it knows something my brain refuses to say.
I saw a man looking at the sky like he was trying to read it. He kept whispering something I couldn't hear. Then he screamed. And it wasn't his voice. It sounded like someone else's memory of screaming.
There's a woman in Sector 8 who paints the same face over and over, Saitama's. But each one is slightly different, taller, longer, like she's painting the moments he becomes something else.
When I meditate now, I don't feel stillness. I feel a beat, a slow pulse beneath the ground, as if the earth itself is sinking with him. Not by choice, by gravity.
I tried to lift a rock near the core zone. Couldn't. It wasn't heavy. It was conceptually anchored, like the idea of movement didn't apply to it anymore.
There's a child in Camp 4 who says he can hear Saitama counting, not out loud, in his bones. Every heartbeat is a number. He says we're on 700,000.
I tried to outrun my own thoughts today. Didn't work. They loop. Every time I think run, the next thought is don't. And when I resist, I hear his footsteps behind me. Even if I stop.
I punched a wall in anger. The wall folded, not cracked, folded, like paper. And on the inside, I saw a room that shouldn't exist, empty. But something was breathing.
Someone left a message in the snow, just footprints.
Our deep core scanners have returned impossible geometry results. The crust is no longer uniformly spherical. It now maps to a structure resembling folded paper, origami wrapped around a central hollow that pulses once every 44 minutes.
That pulse triggers memory loss in synthetic minds. I've tested 3 isolated processors. Each time, core memory wipes itself clean after 44 minutes. We recovered 1 word from the core. Observe.
I flew a recon path over what used to be City D. There is no crater, there is no destruction, there's just absence. A field of ground that doesn't reflect sound or heat. It doesn't respond, it exists in placeholder form, as if the map was waiting to be drawn.
When I run at top speed through zone echo, I experience a lag. My movement returns, like echo, but visual. I see myself half a step behind. Sometimes the version behind blinks first. I don't.
We have a soldier at base Theta who hasn't moved for 6 days. Heartbeat stable, breathing normal. But he doesn't speak. He doesn't blink. When asked where he's been, he just says, folded.
The global sensor array recorded a shadow moving across the ocean faster than atmospheric wind allows. It cast no darkness, but radar tracked the pressure it left behind. Cities 200 kilometers inland recorded tinnitus at the same moment.
The new recruits are becoming quiet, not afraid, just still. They stare at the same corner of the wall, where a water stain forms a perfect silhouette. One of them whispered, "He's patient." He never stopped waiting.
There's a new cloud layer above the planet. Not visible to the eye, but my speed pressure readings change mid-air. I feel resistance from things that aren't there. Sometimes I see flashes of a face in the distance, just before I blink.
Our blades won't hold their edge. Every sword, no matter the material, begins to dull the closer we get to zone null. It's not wear, it's surrender. I sharpened mine 5 times today. Each time, it returned blunt after one swing.
I spoke with a refugee who lost everyone in the collapse. He smiled. He said, "It's okay. He's keeping them in the pause." Then he walked into the dark and vanished from every tracking feed we had.
The number of unknown pings has increased tenfold. Devices near zone perimeter register contact from entities not present on any radar. They speak in silence. We played one through a wave translator. It whispered, "He is thinking now."
The crust will give soon. It's not breaking, it's shifting, like it's making room. Underneath us, something isn't rising. It's reawakening.
I used to think I could bluff my way through anything. But now, when I stand on the observation deck, I don't feel watched. I feel acknowledged.
My powers don't function near the fold anymore. I can lift mountains, but near him, paper weighs more. I moved a building yesterday. It vanished mid-flight, reappeared behind me, upside down.
There are footsteps now, just one pair, walking eternally in a spiral pattern around the fold. No start, no end. When we tried to follow, our paths looped. We returned to where we began.
If he speaks, I fear we won't hear him as sound. We'll hear him as memory, something we've always known but never remembered. And the world will rewrite itself as if it was always that way.
Last night, I reached the edge of what was left of reality. I know it sounds like nonsense, but there was no resistance, just a boundary of unfinished thought. When I stepped across, I saw a city floating upside down and pulsing.
I tried to lift the shape from the sky, not a mountain, not even mass, but it resisted, not with force, but with history, like it remembered being too important to move.
I don't feel rage anymore, or fear, or clarity. Just static inside me when I think of him. When I grip my blade, I no longer feel metal, just potential, crumbling before it's formed.
The sky flickers sometimes, just for a second. In that flicker, all shadows point inward, toward him, no matter where we stand.
We started printing maps again, manually. Every attempt ends the same way. The ink curves by itself before drying. It outlines a figure at the center. No matter what we draw, the center becomes him.
I no longer sleep, but when I blink for too long, I find myself standing in rooms I don't recognize. Sometimes holding something warm, sometimes with ash in my hand.
I asked myself a question. Would I fight him again? My body tensed, my mind screamed, but something inside nodded and smiled.
All world clocks lost 1 second today. They didn't slow, they didn't glitch. The world simply skipped it. We tried to log it. Every log shows the same message. He used it.
We no longer fear death. We fear remembering. We fear recognizing that we once called him hero. And now we dare not speak his name in the present tense.
He was a teacher. He taught me meaning. Now the universe has changed classrooms, and he's what it teaches.